Well, welcome to the Church Office podcast.
My name's Gavin Smith, and if you're joining us on video, then here's a little wave.
We're excited to have Nigel Ring join us.
I've never actually heard the word wicked and accountant put in the same sentence.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Church Office podcast, a podcast all about church administration, all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. And I am really super excited to have Jenny Herrera with us from Acts 435 today, special guest. So welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Gavin. Thanks for having me.
It's brilliant. And listeners, you may have come across Acts 435, you may not, but I am absolutely thrilled to be able to promote them today. Our church has partnered with them. They are fantastic. So Jenny, we are excited to have you on. Tell us a bit about your role. You're the chief executive or executive director, is that right? You're leading this brilliant project.
Yes, that's right. I've been there from the beginning. So back in 2009, when it was first developed, they put a little bulletin in St Michael of Belfry Church in York. Not actually my church, but someone there saw it and it said part-time bookkeeper wanted for new charity. I'd actually just got back from Guatemala, where I'd been a missionary for a few years, and as a chartered accountant was looking for a job. So I said, well, I'm not quite a bookkeeper, but I do need a job and my background's charity. So they said, oh, you need to speak to the Archbishop of York.
Oh, so right.
Dr. John Sentamu had set it all up, so made contact with his wife, and within a couple of years I had moved up to be the executive director, and I've had the absolute joy and privilege of running it ever since.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. Tell us a little bit about how it started then, because was there a passionate businessman behind it? There must have been something that happened to kind of fund it and get it going?
Yeah, so Acts 435 was the idea of Julian Richer, so entrepreneur and founder of the hi-fi chain Richer Sounds.
Yeah.
But really, he came first of all from a donor perspective. This is obviously back in 2008, 2009, felt that there was a lot of donor fatigue. So that if someone has £10 to give, they're really not sure when they give to a lot of charities where that £10 going.
Yeah.
And he felt that there was really a desire in donors to be able to give in a really direct way. Yeah. And then he looked at the church as a ready-made branch network. He's a Christian, and he felt like, well, here's a really good way to connect people in.
Yeah.
And this was just after the financial crash of 2008. So, here we are again talking about all this. But back then, everyone was talking about the challenges around the recession and people struggling. And he felt like we could bring these two together. But he really wanted the church to front it. He wanted it to be, because he said, if I front it, who's going to give money? If I'm, they know I could meet those needs. So he spoke to John and Margaret Sentamu, and they agreed to front it. And it was John Sentamu who came up with the name. So Acts 435 from Acts chapter 4, verse 35, where you have in the early church people coming together, and those who had resources gave, and it was given to all in need. But of course, in our nation today, we've got a situation where there are churches in very affluent areas, churches in very deprived areas, and everyone in between. Yeah. So this is a way through the internet to connect people who want to give, and there are many who do. Every day people are coming onto our website to give, and all these people who are in need.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant idea, and it's often the small little gifts and donations and little help ups that actually make a real difference to people's lives. And I want to talk more to you about the stories later on and stuff. So tell us a bit about it. You're partnering with churches. Tell us how people can get involved in Acts 435. There's a donor point, isn't there, that people can come on and give donations. They can look through where they'd like to give, their small amounts of money or large amounts of money. What's the church side? Because our church administrators, I'm keen to get them plugged into what you guys are doing.
So we are a free resource. We really see ourselves as serving first and foremost our partner churches.
Yeah.
We yes, of course, we are helping the individual people in need who find themselves in crisis, need school uniform, need a washing machine, need a bus pass, whatever it might be. But our primary people that we are serving are our local churches around the country, who perhaps in the past might have had a pastor's discretionary fund, vicar's discretionary fund. They might have their own fund, but it might feel a little bit small, and there is a lot of need. Firstly, within their own congregation. Secondly, through different ministries that a church might be running, like their food bank, like debt centres. Or, of course, we've had stories where someone just knocks on the door of a church and says, I need help.
Yeah.
And sometimes the church itself doesn't have the budget to provide that support for the specific item they need, especially when sometimes people need cash. So someone might come into the food bank because they've got no food, but perhaps they've also not even got the money to get back home, or maybe there's a job interview but they need a train fare to go and attend that interview. So what we are really is a free resource for churches to go the extra mile for people in need. Now, the way it works is that each church partners with us directly, and they are the ones that post the needs on our website. So if you go on our website, acts435.org.uk, what you see is a long list of stories of people and what they need. So perhaps someone needs a cooker. Why do they need a cooker? Perhaps they've fled domestic violence, they've been rehoused, but they are terribly stressed because they cannot provide good meals for their family. The people who are writing those stories, it's not us, we're a tiny team, 4 part-timers, but it is the individual churches and charities. They have what we call an advocate, and often the church administrator is a really good person to do that, because this is the kind of admin side. They need to go on, they get a login, and when they post a request, it goes live onto our website for people to give to. So they are really presenting onto our website the story of this person that they've met, and they'll do it much better than we would anyway. Donors then crowdfund, essentially. So a donor might go and give £5, they might go and give £10. Sometimes people give £500 and they give to a few different needs. And when that need has been met, we send the money to the church bank account, and the church is the one that then arranges getting the item for the person, which enables them to reconnect with that person. It gives them another chance to just do some more pastoral care alongside that, and give that support, really.
I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant setup. You guys have worked a brilliant process, and I think it's lovely that you stand with us and support us as we, have got a desire to reach out with the gospel, to connect people, to meet needs, to be able to fund it. I mean, we were amazed. We've sort of done 2 or 3 items, and I think within about sort of a week, they were fully funded and the money was in our account. We were able to go and bless that family immediately with the item that they need. We then get to see the story, how that kind of continues in our local church, which is lovely. So, they come along on a Sunday, or they're connected to a midweek group or something. And because the story started with us kind of meeting a need through partnering with yourselves, we've seen great fruit and life coming to the church because of it as well, which is
that's wonderful. That's what we want to see. We are a Christian charity, and we're proud to be so, and we want to see this is God's love in action. Ultimately. And what good is it just to say, as it says in James, what good is it to say, oh, go well on your way, if we haven't provided for their needs? And a lot of churches can't. There's a church we work with in Sheffield, which is on a huge housing estate, and the actual church only has a congregation of about 10 people.
Wow.
So, and they want to do something to help, but how could they ever have the budget from their small congregation? Their budget needs to cover the gas and electricity of their church. So those are the kind of churches we love to be able to resource, because we're saying, well, actually, there are lots of people who want to help. We can step in and equip you in the incredible work that you're doing on the front line.
Yeah, and absolutely right. And I think that one of the key messages on the website is that 100% of the donation that people give goes straight to the individuals, isn't it? You guys are funded through different ways, but actually you know where you're giving, to the person, the story, and that's going to make a difference. And that connection is clever, and really you actually get to partner together in a very clear way, don't you? It's lovely.
That's the absolute beauty of the model, really. That was Julian's idea, that Gift Aid, he funded it to start with, funded its setup costs, but once it became self-sustaining in about 2015, the Gift Aid covers our team, the credit card charges. So if someone gives £20, we'll cover that credit card charge out of our Gift Aid. The full £20 that you've given to someone's cooker in Swansea will go straight to that cooker. Nothing will be taken off from it. And praise God, we have had more gift aid than we've needed, which has enabled us to sometimes put extra gift aid into the requests to ensure they keep getting met quickly. And we would love to see, at the moment, our average is 9 days, but we would love to see an average of 3 or 4 days. But we've relied on an organic growth, just the word spreading. We haven't got a fundraising department or a huge fundraising budget. So as the word spreads, as new churches come on board, they spread the word, donors come on board, and bit by bit, we want to just keep reaching more churches, helping more people.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we've been able to kind of say to our folk in our church, look, we're posting these stories on. If you'd like to give, then this is a way that you can do it, and a quick way to do it. And you can see there are other folk across the country, and you guys categorize that, don't you, on the website and based on the different needs. So if you really have a real sense that you'd like to give to somebody, to make a difference in a work situation or a kid's situation, you're able to filter those things and have a look through where you might be drawn to give. You can do it by region as well. So if you're looking to bless a certain area, I think I was looking on there. There's only one request in Wales. So come on, Welsh churches, if you're listening to this, we've got to be doing better than this. We need to be signing up to this. And like you say, it's free to sign up. You have a point person as an advocate. Our advocate in the office is somebody who's an administrator. They link with the ministry teams. They're able to write the stories, to put them up, to do the admin. And it takes 5-10 minutes, and you get to see results straight away. And it's lovely to log on and go, oh wow, we've already made 50% of the donations already come in, and we're on a journey. And I just think it's wonderful. So if you're a church and you're thinking, and you've not heard about Acts 435, let's get this right, please check out their website, and please log on and partner with them. It's free, and it enables you to do more ministry and to reach more people who are in need. And the climate is changing, isn't it? Have you found that you've got more requests coming in the last few months? Are you anticipating that that's just going to grow and grow?
Yeah, I think we're in the calm before the storm. What we did see was at the beginning of the pandemic, we almost doubled in size. So we had been in a situation where we're receiving about £30,000 a month of individual donors giving. And from April 2020, it pretty much doubled to over 60,000 a month. So there really are a lot of people giving, and these are individual people. Yeah. It's unusual that we get sort of a lump sum. It's mainly individual people coming to give. It's the summer, and that would usually be a dip for us, just because advocates are on holiday, churches are maybe stopped for their ministries. But actually, it's still, it's probably about 150 requests being posted on our website a week. But I do anticipate that to increase. And I think, it's obviously been in the news a lot, and each time it is, we see a flurry of donors, because they hear this and they think, okay, I am okay with my increased energy bills, though there are many donors who have also been squeezed, of course. But what can I do? What can I do to help? And this is a way. One thing I should mention is that when you give your direct £20 to that cooker in Swansea, you also get a thank you message back. So the church advocate or administrators, again, well placed for this, they will say, when Sheena got her cooker, she was absolutely over the moon. She was just so touched by the kindness of strangers. That goes back to the donor who gave to that. And even they think, my goodness, I can see the real impact. And it's a great way of showing direct giving, and the receipt, it's almost like a true receipt, isn't it? I know the money got to what I gave it to, and then it encourages them to give again. So it's
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think people have kind of, I guess, had to wise up to the fact that sometimes they can give to a charity and it does go to running costs, and it doesn't go directly to causes. And so I think, people are looking at that and going, where can I give specifically? Where will it make the most amount of difference? And I love the fact that it can be, as low as £5. It can be as big as you want, that even in the means that you have, God can still stir our hearts to give even small amounts that will contribute to making a difference. So anything else on the practical side? It's
lovely the way we connect to stories, and we once did a survey with our donors, because I thought, well, the children requests are always going to be met quickest. Why do I think that? Because I've got 2 young children, and they're the ones that I link into and think, oh gosh, I'm buying school uniform now and able to do that. Can I help someone who's struggling? But we asked our donors what needs appeal to you, and as you say, some choose local region, so that's why we have those categories where you can choose by region. Some, perhaps it's where the need's going to really give someone a hand up in life, so maybe they've come out of prison and this is just going to enable them to get a job. Things like provisional driving licenses is quite a good example. So some people like to give to that. Some people like to give to debt relief order fees, because they know that's releasing a full burden of debt. But one donor said, I like to give to the requests that I don't think anyone else will give to. Isn't that wonderful? We need those people too. So I think we love the variety, and so for any church looking at the needs thinking, oh, but maybe you don't help in that area. No, we love the variety, because if they all said cooker, or debt relief order fee, donors need that variety and different stories. I know one donor who she likes to give away sort of vet fees, something to do with pets. So we all connect with different stories.
Yeah, absolutely right. No, it's good. It's really good. And I mean, going on to stories, I mean, we kind of before the pandemic set aside a sort of fund of money to say, right, we went and spoke to some midwives and people working in the community, professionals that were working in the community, and we said to them, right, we've got this small amount of money, make requests from us and we'll try and help in any way that we can. And we've just seen, we called it Mercy Multiplied, and it was just an opportunity for us to show mercy in the community, similarly to what you're doing, but on a much smaller scale and a smaller budget. And we just found that we were able to, there were situations that were coming up that you wouldn't necessarily have expected, that were just helping people to the next stage of a job interview or organising something. I think we helped one lady who was trying to get back into work after having a baby, but needed a medical to enable her to get the job. And she was being charged £80 at a local GP for that, and she didn't have the money to do it, so that meant she couldn't do the job. And we hear about it and we go, we can do that, we can meet that need. And then you pay the £80 and the lady gets a job and she's providing for her family. And it's like people don't forget those small bits of kindness, that you were just able to help them get to the next stage of where they wanted to get to, where there's not necessarily any funds out there that can help them. They're not aware of anywhere they can apply. But through local church, they were able to do it. And essentially that's what you guys do. And we've kind of shifted over to you now to do that, to work together and partner. And we're able to do much more now. And I love that. So that's a story for us that we've just gone, yeah, this is a no-brainer. This enhances ministry. It gets to the needs of people. I love that. So we can continue to do that, but we can work with you guys on it. Tell me some of your stories. Tell me some of the best interactions that you've had, that you just gone, oh God, it's been so good in all of this. And
first of all, I would just say, yes, Acts 45, you're totally right. We're not the answer to UK poverty, but no. It's where things fall through the gaps, and there's just something that is a blocker like that. Our 10,000th request, for example, a few years ago now, was a similar situation. Someone had got a job, they'd been unemployed for a number of years, but they needed chef whites and their own vegetable peeler in order to take up this job. But they've been unemployed for years. They have no spare cash to buy these things. And so we were able to help with that. And of course, then you are filling that gap, and then they're into a job. Remember a family we had helped years and years ago with a pushchair. They were on hard times, expecting a baby. And a few years later, they gave a donation and they just popped us an email. And that's it. A lot of people hit rough times for a period of time. And then afterwards, they say to us, we just want to be able to give back and support. One story just shows the kind of connection, really, between donor and family. It was a family in York, which is where we're based. So it was a grandmother, and she was trying to take her two grandchildren away. There was issues with the parents, and so she just wanted to take them on their first holiday, camping somewhere. And they put a request on for the money for the petrol to be able to go away. A brand new donor couple gave, and then they sent me an email and said, actually, we've got a holiday cottage up in Scotland, and we've just had a week made available. Is there any way you can get in touch with this person, and can they come up and use the place? And we went through our partner, which is the charity, and they made contact with this person, and they took up the offer, and they drove all the way up to Scotland and met the donors. They wanted to come and meet them. They took them pony riding. It was these two girls, their first holiday, and it was just so moving, and just shows the fact that donors aren't just, I'll give some money. They actually connect in with the story. Now, that's a pretty rare situation, but there's been plenty of examples where someone has been helped with something, and then as you say, they started coming to church. They thought, actually, this church has heard my need first, my physical need, and that's it. A couple of ones recent ones that we've helped are Ukrainian refugees, so we're also able to help with asylum seekers, and those are coming at the moment in from Ukraine. This is the story. A Ukrainian refugee who's fled the war, leaving her husband behind in the army.
Okay.
She requests £70 to buy roller skates and toys for her daughter, as they had to leave many favourite items back home when they left Ukraine. Please, can you help? And, you know, that's, I think, Acts 45 isn't just about the absolute basic essentials. I don't think we would say roller skates are a basic essential.
Yeah.
But my goodness, what a difference they've made in this particular family's life. It just gives her something fun to do, and just, as I've said, that reality that people care and they want to be able to help, and be able to facilitate that. Another story is someone who needed emergency surgery for cancer, required 8 weeks of chemo and radiotherapy, but not in the city they were in. So they needed to travel to this other city. Well, he's self-employed, so suddenly couldn't work. Wife off on compassionate leave. And of course, they just don't have the extra money for these travel expenses. And that's the kind of thing where we were able to step in. This is a thank you that they wrote. When a life is struck by cancer so unexpectedly, it fills you with panic, worry and stress about what the future will bring and how the family will manage. We've been touched by how many people have reached out to help in our time of need. Words cannot express how much your donation will help and is appreciated with the cost of travel to Hull each day. It's shown us love, given us hope and the strength to fight this disease. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Yeah.
Sometimes £120 might not feel like much, but look at that, you know, hope gives them strength, shows love. It's powerful.
It is powerful. Yeah. And it's just, it's being Christ to these people, isn't it? Showing God's love, meeting needs and blessing people, you know, with nothing in return. And that's just, it's lovely. The story, you've probably got thousands of stories, and so give me some brilliant facts, because I love a bit of facts and stuff. How many kind of items or things have you met so far?
Oh gosh,
you
so
10,000. I was like, okay, there's going to be a number on here somewhere.
Yeah, over 35,000
Wow.
people that we've helped with a complete range of items. You know, that's the incredible thing, really. Over £4 million gone directly, and I think that's the amazing thing in a time where we've had obviously the decade of austerity, we've had the pandemic, we've now got the squeeze on our living costs. Yet people are continuing to give it, and some charities have really struggled, but we have seen growth year on year, and over that period of time, £4 million going directly to specific needs to make a real difference, which is what it's all about, really. And we want to get to 1,000 churches. We've got about 650 at the moment. We'd love to be helping 1,000 churches. The Archbishop, when he was Archbishop, always said we need to help 1 million people a month or something, you know,
a month.
Yeah, but we'd love to be helping 1,000 people a month, and that would be
a man of faith there, you know.
But you know, God has provided, and that has been, I think that, you know, the thing that we've always had to keep in balance is if we have too many requests, then, you know, they'll start to lag. They'll be on our website for a long time. I think the oldest one at the moment is 15 days, so that's not bad. But also, if we had a big fundraising budget, if we were to do a big fundraising project and all the donors gave, and the next donors be like, well, what's this about? There's no live request. So it needs to always keep in balance. And God has been so faithful in providing. Just yesterday, actually, having said we rarely get money from foundations, we got £5,000 from a foundation, which was just brilliant to meet a load of needs. But also, last Wednesday, I sent money. My operations director's on annual leave, so I've been doing the bank transfers. So on Wednesday, I sent a load of money. And Friday, I did the next batch. £9,950 have been given between Wednesday and Friday. So all these individual needs. It's just, it's humbling, really, to just see that people come and give that money and trust it to, and we just love being able to resource our churches and charities, and we just want to resource more and more, because I'm sure they're all seeing just a lot of need around them. Yeah,
it's brilliant, and as you say, it's a privilege. And I think as church administrators or those serving behind the scenes, we get to see those little connections and those things develop, and we get to play a part in it. And I love that, because we may not be on the front line of kind of ministry and connecting with people, you know, directly, you know, Ukrainian families or whatever. I know we've started to reach out to a number of families local community. But our role as administrators is to connect and to make these things happen, to enable ministry to happen. And so if you're a church administrator listening to this, then please, sign up, get it on the agenda to have a chat to your leader. There's no cost, there's no obligations. You can drop out at any time. So that it really is. But I think once you start it, we've just found it to be brilliant. The staff are fantastic. It's easy to use. It works. We've had requests that have been met. We've not been waiting long. We've had the money straight away. We've been able to buy the goods. We've been able to bless people. So it really does. You really do what you say you're going to do, and it's brilliant. So big tick box. And for me, it's a privilege to have you on the podcast. And I love the fact that we can promote it. And I hope our listeners will connect into you. Any final words? Any other thoughts before we disappear?
I think just our administrator at the moment used to be a church administrator. So talking to her when we interviewed her, she knew all the way that everything works. Yeah. And I did work for my local church for a few months. And the administrators, they're cog. They know everything. They're in the centre of it all. And actually, it works really well because they, especially if your church has a number of ministries, it enables them to just be that central point where they're hearing about the need, they're typing it up, and then they can sort out the money when it comes in. So they are the one who can just go up to the church leader and say, "Go on, it's really straightforward, no cost, sign the dotted line, and give it a go." And it's up to you how you manage Acts 435. So there's very few churches who are heavily advertising it. It's more, this is a resource we have. As we relate to people, we're able to help. It's probably worth finishing actually with a story while I have been volunteering at my church, that we've been running a cafe and just as a place to connect after the pandemic. And a gentleman came in and I got chatting to him, and he told me that he had a job interview with McDonald's. I think he might have had the job, but he needed to get some shoes to work at McDonald's. And I said, actually, I work for a charity called Acts 45. Oh, yes, I came into the food bank on Monday and they said they'd be able to help me if I didn't get any support anywhere else for my shoes. So he said, but I'm going to try and find out. I'm going to talk to his support worker or someone. And I said, okay, well, look, if you don't, he said, I'm going to come to church on Sunday. I'm like, right, if you come to church on Sunday and you still haven't, then let us know. And he came and he still hadn't got support. So we were able to help him. And I just thought, the church, once the church knows about it, it was already getting mentioned without me having been there. And, we're able to step in. It's one of those classic ones about providing what they need for a job. But, administrators are well placed to know what all is going on. And I would also say to churches who aren't particularly doing any ministries, we've also had some great stories where a church have used Acts 45 as a catalyst so they're like, well, I remember one church in Barnsley, very deprived area of Barnsley, and they said, well, we know there are people in need, but we don't really know who they are. Well, what do you do? Well, we do a toddler group. That was the one activity they did. So they did actually put a poster up in the toddler group, and someone from the children's centre said, oh, can I have a chat to you about this? Because we work with a lot of vulnerable families. And through that, we've helped over 400 vulnerable families in Barnsley through that connection. And the church is there at the centre of it. So it's just very flexible, is Acts 435. And if you've got any questions, if you think, but there is a barrier, we want to hear it because we want to break down all barriers. We want to be super flexible, super accessible, so that we can help more people.
Yeah, I love that. And I think just to finish, people don't forget kindness, do they? They don't forget, the help that they receive. And I think that's where the gospel is lovely, isn't it? That it just gives us a gospel opportunity because we've met a need and someone doesn't forget it. And that, like you say, that for me just excites me to think, whatever size church you are, whatever reach you feel like you've got into the community, actually, this just helps you, backs you up and gives you opportunity to raise funds for people. It gives you the means to be able to start to practically chat to people and care for people in our community. So brilliant. So send our best wishes to everyone involved with the team. You're doing a fantastic job. If you've got any questions that you'd like to send in, if we can help you connect to Jenny and Acts 435, then please contact us on questions@thechurchoffice.co.uk. We're going to be putting this out on socials. It'll be going out to our members. Please take the time to check out the website. Please take the time to become an advocate, to link up and to partner with you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time, Jenny, to come on the podcast and tell us all about what you're doing. It's brilliant, and well done to you. It is making a difference.
Thank you for having me, Gavin, and I do really appreciate your help in helping us spread the word and get more churches on board, which hopefully they will as a result of this.
I hope so. Well, brilliant. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for connecting in with us on the Church Office podcast. Please check out our website. There are free documents out there. There are podcasts, there are other videos, training videos and things like that to help you in your role, maybe to give you a bit more confidence or time saving. It's great to be partnering together as church administrators, and we can support and serve one another. So please look at the site and connect with us. All right, goodbye, and we'll see you on the podcast next time.